And now, Pujya Atman Sri Swami Jyotirmayananda commences tonight's Satsang with a Sanskrit peace chant.
Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We begin with mystic song by Sri Swami Lalitananda, played and sung by Sri Swami Umananda and Rajneesh.
Our song tonight is called Prayer to Devi. This world would be unbearable. The wild jungle of fear would capture me. Om Shri Durgaye Namaha. Most gracious unto all, I beg to touch your lotus feet. Without thought, I have wandered foolishly in quest of my desires. Forgive me, for I am your child. Oh, Devi, more beautiful than the orb of the moon, grant me this prayer. May I be as pure as snow. May that longing of my soul find rest and peace with you. Om Shri Durgaye Namaha. Om Shri Durgaye Namaha. Oh Devi, I am destitute. Bestow upon me with your hands in the dark hours of my soul. Provide me with faith and courage whenever I call, and envelop me in your thousand arms. Oh Devi, protector of all, guide me through the storm. The rains of misery are upon me. Bring me back to my home, where I may abide with you in peace forever. We are recording from the ashram of our revered Guru, Atman Sri Swami Jyotirmayananda in Miami, Florida. Today is August the 29th, 2018, Wednesday evening, and tonight Swamiji will be lecturing on the Yoga Vasistha. This is series 2018, class number 69. And now Atman Sri Swami Jyotirmayananda.
Om Brahmanandam Param Sukhadam Kevalam Jnana Murtim Dvandvatitam Gagan Sadrisham Tattvamasya Lakshyam Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Om. Adorations to Sadguru, who is Brahman, the giver of supreme bliss, embodiment of pure consciousness, one without a second, vast as the ether, infinite, eternal, beyond the three gunas and their modifications, the supreme preceptor. Yoga Vasistha Utpatti Prakarana, section 83. Rather, section is 84. And having concluded this allegorical story of Karkati, sage Vasistha continues to enlighten Rama by giving profound insight into the nature of the world and the reality behind all this world of Maya, illusion. Everyone experiences the world through mind. Unmind yourself, then you unwind all your problems. A simple illustration is there. When you go to sleep, you go beyond mind, not absolutely, but to the extent you can understand, all problems move away when you are in deep sleep. The moment you wake up, you look for your mind. At the moment the mind comes to you, now 3 fingers arise. Yesterday, today, tomorrow. Time, space, causation. Should the souls stay with this type of chitta support, as long as you are limited in bondage, you are dependent upon your chitta, your mind, for your happiness, for your fulfillment, for your peace or whatsoever. But deep within, try to figure out, should it be like this forever? Many will think it was a wonderful blessing, stay on forever. Wake up early in the morning, take tea. Look into the TV, lots of news goes on breaking. Not breaking your head. And go on blowing candle flames on every birthday. That seems like a very desirable fortune to be blessed not to die. But if you handle this, I'm trying to think out how to avoid crude words. If you handle this, you are a dull wit. So now we have to understand that as long as you are dependent upon chitta for your existence, for your experience, for your happiness, you are not really yourself. You are afflicted by what is known as bhava vyadhi, disease of the world process. And this is the source of all diseases. Coming into the topic now, once the pure self assumes the form of the chitta, it becomes refracted through the latter into the form of the world process. To understand that in a simple way, when you go to sleep, out of your mind emerges a limited mind. And through that limited mind, now you are being refracted. Your consciousness flows through a limited mind, not your healthy mind, not the awakened mind, but a limited mind. Then your consciousness has become refracted, just like the sun gets refracted through clouds. So all you are experiencing in your dream are refractions of what you are, consciousness. If you can handle that, then bring it in a broad way. All that you are experiencing in this world is through your mind. And what is being refracted through your mind? Pure consciousness. And is the mind something different from pure consciousness? No. Maya is not simple to understand. You can't put two and two together. Just like out of your own mind, when you go to dream, comes a small little mind. And that mind becomes the basis of your entire dream experience. When you wake up, that limited mind never existed. The world never existed. So while we describe Brahman being refracted through the mind, when you attain enlightenment, then you realize there was no mind to begin with. And then you may say, but then why was I in bondage? If you are asking that, you are not liberated. You are still holding on. If you wake up, then you don't question, why was I in Alaska? It's a big distance between Florida and Alaska. And you dream it was so easy. When you wake up, you don't ask a question. O Rama, I will tell you the story of the sons of Indu. Interesting story called Aindavopakhyan. The story of sons of King Indu. Indu literally means moon, but here is the name of a great king in a storyline. Vasistha says, the stories, illustrations, parables, and poetic images that are used in the scriptures, like lustrous beams of moonlight, to dispel the darkness of ignorance. See, in very few words, you have given the purpose of scriptures and the art involved in teaching, giving the wisdom to people. And what does it imply? Sages create mystic stories. And if they see you are getting bored with stories, they give you illustrations. And to change the mood, they give you parables. And they feel that your heart is not with it, then they start poetic verses. So, divine teaching is brought to you from in many aspected manner. It's not just mathematics. It's not mathematics. It's art. It's melody. It's dance. It's all that you can think of that makes the life rich. Now, with that in view, listen to the story and enjoy the flavor of the story. Shri Vasistha continued, O Rama, once upon a time, I had asked divine Brahma, the creator, about the mystery of creation. He told me the following story. Even this beginning statement is a story. You don't talk to God. And God doesn't have time to explain to you. Now, let me give a little suspense. Brahma said, just as whirlpools arise in the ocean, so worlds arise in the ocean of the mind. So you look at the ocean seems vast, etc., without much trouble, but lots of whirlpools are going on with the ocean. And every whirlpool has its story to tell. And there are lots of waves in the ocean. And every wave has its own story. Because it has its mama waves, it has papa waves, it has brother waves, sister waves, and all types of waves. And every wave is busy entertaining other waves. The goal is to say goodbye, wave goodbye to all waves. Recognize all that is ocean. So Brahma, the creator, is giving that teaching. He tells a story to Vasistha. It so happened once that I had just awakened from the night of dissolution of the world. In a storyline, let me give you how Brahma is brought into in the scriptures. Brahma has only short life, lives only for 100 years. Then another Brahma arises. Poor Brahma. But the time he experiences is totally different from human beings. A day of Brahma is world system rises to the highest level of its evolutionary process. Night of Brahma, pralaya, all enters into dissolution. With the next day, Brahma creates again the world process. And the world process lasts only for that whole day. And that goes on. It's called normal pralaya. And after his 100th year of his existence, there comes Mahapralaya, great dissolution. But then another Brahma comes forth. And that process goes on. Creation, dissolution, and great, great dissolution, and all that goes on in the storyline. And people go into too much of mathematics. How long time is left for the creation? But all that is distraction. Simple point to understand, the world you are experiencing you can view it from 2 points of view. From scientific point of view, this world is always in the process, evolutionary process. And there comes a climax and gets into involution process. And the science goes on giving you some idea in that direction. But you don't have to wait for scientific research. Simple point, the world you are experiencing is based upon your mind and senses. And no two persons experience the same world. And even you don't experience the same world because the mind undergoes various changes. Without going into further details, let me get back to the story. So, Brahma had just awakened from his night of dissolution of the world. All that was trying to explain to you that don't develop the aspiration to become Brahma, you will have a hard time. Constantly busy creating and destroying. Behind the humor, I'm giving you understanding that this is the world of Maya. Brahma's world is based upon your conditioned mind. If you put on blue glass in your eyes, the whole world becomes blue. And you forgot you have put on the glass. And you are asking everybody, this big trouble has come to the world. What should we do? The answer lies very close to you. Your own vision. You have put on a glass there. Similarly, answer to all problems lies very close to you, your mind. You are experiencing the world through your mind. And your brain is not your mind. Brain is a channel, just like an iPhone. I directed my gaze into the vastness of infinity. There was neither darkness nor light. Then with the help of my subtle mind, I began to project the world. But to my amazement, I saw before me 10 creators seated on swans, like reflections of myself in a mirror. Brahma's storyline presents story of Brahma, who suddenly encounters a very strange experience. Normally, he should be the only one creating the universe. But one morning he sees 10 Brahmas. Already they have created 10 world systems. And every world system is complete. Each Brahma had already created a world system. In each world, there were stars that twinkled, oceans that surged, rivers that flowed, and sun that shone, and winds that blew, and add up more details. In each world system, there were gods, humans, demons, and all other living beings. If you understand what you are being led to understand is the world is Maya. Just like you enter into dream, and your dream may lead you to another dream. And you can go into another dream. It's not a difficult thing to understand. Imagine you are in your dream, you are seated in a table and having a nice lunch, and one of your friend is saying, "Last night I saw you in my dream." I'm interested. And then you begin to say, "Oh, I also saw in my dream something else." So already you are in dream. Now, within dream there is another dream story. And if you can imagine more, it can be endless. The simplified version is given by children's parables called barber shop, dog in the barber shop. Old style barber shop used to have decorations by mirrors. And one barber shop had set parallel mirror, just 2 mirrors, one here, one here. And so happened a dog stole into that shop with the expectation of having something good to eat. But to the surprise of the dog, he sees there is another dog already. He opened his mouth to bark. And as he opened his eyes wider, he saw there was another dog, because reflection within reflection. He put his head backward, and there is another series of dogs. A horrible experience. He opened his teeth, and they are all opening their teeth. He snarls, and all snarl. He barks, and all of them bark. He worries, why did I embark myself into this situation? That's the predicament of every soul. Minds are like mirrors. And mirrors create a lot of illusions. Each world system was thickly populated by living beings. Each dream that you enter into is well populated. And each appeared like a pomegranate fruit containing numerous souls. And in each world system, there were expressions of time, space, and causation. Each world system, even in your dream, you see your room empty without any chair, then therefore you need a chair. There is a causation. Because there is no chair, so I have to find a chair. I'm joking with a little example of and your servant is not bringing the chair. Now you are waiting, waited half an hour, you have waited 3 hours in your dream. So from ordinary point of view, you have hardly gone to sleep for even 10 minutes. But in your dream, you have waited hours and hours. So you can understand how time, space, causation, all these are illusory. But human mind accepts them just like you accept your dream until you wake up. Similarly, first to understand that all that you are experiencing is a transient process. Nothing is going to stay. All you are experiencing is based upon the mind, senses, and behind that you have whole more subtler study, your subtle desires, vasanas, and behind all that, what makes all this possible, all the illusion, is ignorance. So the spiritual movement is meant to remove 3 great obstacles: mala, gross impurities, anger, greed, hate. All this does not allow your heart to have pure feelings. Human heart is starving for good feeling. But the feeling, instead of good feeling, there is deluded feelings. Just like a deer sees a mirage, and the heart of the deer feels so joyous, found wonderful water. So that type of feeling surges in the hearts of people. Don't be upset, this is just predicament of limitation in life. That's why there is a need for liberation. If life is pleasant and really real, there is no problem. Scriptures are not needed. Each having its moment, hour, day, month, and year. Brahma says, seeing this, I was confounded. Brahma is not confounded, but this is the way storyline. I'm all giving you in a humorous way. All experiences of the world can be put into www in a mystic website. Who, where, and why. And all three are to be discovered. You have to research it. Who are you? Where are you? Why are you in this? And all this is resolved when there is enlightenment. The entire website is a magical creation. It's not reality. I continued to gaze for a while, and then by my mental will, I drew the sun god of a nearly world system to myself and said, O sun god, adorations to you. Please explain your identity to me. Tell me all about these worlds. How have they been created? This is storyline, creating a story. Brahma sees so many world systems. He wants to know how all this came to exist without him. He is the one who has to create, but without him, already there were 10 world systems. So he drew one of the sun god from one of the world system, because sun god is more prominent, he knows everything. So I asked the sun god, what this? I have hardly started creation and it's already there. Tell me the mystery. In section 86, this sun god tells the story. Sun god began, O God of gods, in the last world you created, in the valleys of Kailasha mountains, there existed a province known as Swarnajata. There lived a Brahmin known as Indu, who was best among the knowers of Brahman. Indu Brahmana had a loving wife, but he had no children. Desirous of children, both Indu and his wife practiced intense austerities in order to receive the blessings of Lord Shiva. In course of time, Lord Shiva blessed them with 10 sons. That's the story. Indu Brahmana received the blessings of 10 sons. These children became well versed in the Vedas when they were only 7 years old. By this time, their parents passed away. And these children were enlightened. You must realize children are souls. They come in your family. If you have 5 children in your family, one may be enlightened, another may be a music genius, another may be an algebra genius. I'm joking. In other words, no two children are exactly alike. They are souls. One may be in the kindergarten of spirituality, another may be in advanced level of spirituality. Outside they are just cozy little boys or girls, whatever. But in this story, all the 7, all the sons, 10 sons, were enlightened. But in the beginning stage, enlightened was not absolute enlightenment. They were little steps back, but very close to enlightenment. When father passed away, and also the mother, these 10 were grief-stricken. They conversed among themselves. What is really desirable in this world? What's the goal that must be attained? Even the post of Indrahood is perishable and not worth desiring. What then should we work for? The eldest brother said in a convincing voice, I think that the attainment of Brahmahood is the ideal goal worth striving for, O brothers. It seems like a very strange proposal. Realize. When you begin spirituality, study Vedanta, even in the very beginning stage you are told that what is desirable for you in life is to realize I am Brahman. Here, the idea that let's plan to be Brahma is not any different. Rather, it is just a stepping stone towards Brahman. Brahma implies realization that all this world, you are what's called Virat consciousness. You are not individual. If you think that you are a wave, allow your mind to develop a different level. If you are a wave, then you are the ocean also. If you have that type of mental expansion, then you have become Brahma. It's Brahmahood. But I'm giving you the deeper meaning, but let's go through the story. So now then, they all began to meditate upon I am the divine creator. The Vedantic practice is process of affirmation. The idea I am the body, your mind has practiced it for a long time. And therefore, you view your body as your reality. Allow your mind to shift its angle understand body is not you. You are Brahman. But then, this is a big jump. Mind has to be helped by presenting small steps. First series of steps, practice affirmation for developing good qualities. Find yourself subject to anger, hate, conceit, etc. Recognize them as maladies, and in order to remove those maladies, allow your mind to make an affirmation. Calm your mind, and in a calm mind, take a positive picture of yourself. And that's called affirmation. Let me give you more details. So, say for example, you want to overcome irritable nature of yours, anger. Adopt mantra of 3S. What does that mean? Suppression, substitution, sublimation. The moment you see that a situation has come and your anger is coming up, but it's distant. Anger is coming. You already saw through the window. Soon the anger will start knocking at your door. Don't open the door. That's called suppression. Move away from it. And don't open the door. Don't act according to your anger. Don't move into it. Sit back. Go to your refrigerator. Find something cool, drink. If possible, put some cool ice on your head. And go into a little more grown-up state. Sit relaxed and ask yourself, should I degrade myself by being angry? Shouldn't I understand what's the situation? Why is this person is creating trouble for me? What is his trouble? Probably thorn has entered his foot. Etc., etc. But not going into too much details, if you are trying to overcome the habit of being angry, then each time you meditate, allow your mind to assert, instead of looking back, oh, I have been angry all the time, what can I do about it? I practiced 7 years sadhana and still anger is coming after me. Instead of doing that, calm your mind and develop a kind of artistic imagery. I am made in the image of God. Buddha shines in my heart. Jesus shines in my heart. How wonderful, I have no anger. I send out my loving goodwill for all. Sarve bhavantu sukhina. That's called substitution. If you continue with this, without going into the memory of the past, suddenly you will find your anger has simply moved away. That's called sublimation. One important point, Positive is your reality. Negative, you have created it by your karma. Things that you create by your karma are like, suppose you are looking at a tree. You can have two types of flowers in the tree. Flowers you buy from the stores, artificial flowers, and put them on the tree. All the negative qualities are artificial things. They are not your reality. All that you have to do is to not to go after those flowers. In other words, let the flowers drop away. All artificiality requires effort. Anything artificial you have done, you have to do some karma, some effort to remove it. But the virtues within you, they are not artificial. Automatically they will blossom. It's an important point to understand. Otherwise, people have double trouble. One, remove the anger. Another, plant love. All that you do is to let the anger be sublimated by your positive affirmation. In the beginning, your affirmation seems like your imagination, but it is not imagination. A positive imagination is really moving towards the truth. If you hold on to it and begin to work, because positivity is your nature. Negativity is created by your limited mind. Light, joy, that's your essential nature. Now, this is illustrated in a very different way. Each one started practicing an affirmation. I am Brahma, the creator. I am the deity who is worshipped by all living beings. I am accompanied by Goddess Saraswati, Goddess Gayatri, and other goddesses. I am praised by sages and saints. This entire world exists within me, like the rising and falling of waves. Numerous living beings proceed from me and are drawn back into me. I am the God of gods. I am the creator. This is a very advanced sample for affirmation. But must realize Hindu culture presents this type of technique in every stage of your life. Just to give you a Queen Madalasa was a great enlightened personality. And when children were born, when a child is born of her, she sings a cradle song. Shuddhosi buddhosi niranjanosi sansara maya parivarjitosi, which means, oh baby, you are absolutely pure. You are enlightened. You are free of the taints, all the limitations of the world. All this is done without questioning. You don't question. How can the baby hear that? Isn't that a stupid thing to do? No. Because human beings are not gaining knowledge just through brain. There is prenatal education. Babies begin to draw from mother's source certain special spiritual touch. And that doesn't come within the ordinary scope of study. And yet that's the most profound. How does the baby begin to live from the very beginning, even within the body of the mother? So what I'm implying, that affirmations, positive affirmations, should be directed towards every stage to the babies as they grow up and they do something negative. You should have an art not to make the person feel so miserable and degraded that he has no strength to do anything else, but rather a loving way of reminding, oh, you are such a great person, and your face is shining, but one tooth of yours is broken. So just repair it. I'm joking. Create a loving environment and lead people to discover their positive strength. Not a scolding atmosphere. Then even the very little good qualities they have, they will lose it. Though you will think it's the only rational thing to do. Figure that out. But all this is done with a good heart. And good-hearted movement has a divine touch. So you automatically, spontaneously you adopt a subtle art of influencing people to awaken their goodness in them. That has been the basis of all sages and saints. Their teachings in those days, we didn't go into Google, etc. And yet, their teachings touch the heart of countless people. And with this, I'm going to conclude. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
If you have a question for Swamiji, please raise your hand.
Ram Gurudev. Gurudev, last lecture you talked about the similarity between Anandamaya Kosha and the -3 and the Samadhi state.
Mm-hmm.
Can you describe that in more detail, please?
To give insight into spiritual progress, the Yoga Vasistha and other scriptures have presented steps. First step is called Shuvecha Aspiration. Second step is known as Vicharana, which means you are entering into meditative practice. First state, you are awake, but not ordinary awake, you are awake to the purpose of your life. Good wakefulness. So there is a difference. Ordinary awake, you are -1. Now you are awake with the fervor of fulfilling the purpose. It's +1. Now, to understand, moving into meditative state, the moment you begin to move into meditative state, your experiences that were very solid, they become like shaky and like little clouds. And to ordinary mind, the imagery you will give is like a dream state, because dreams move away fast. But the dream experience is -2. And your manana state of meditation is +2, giving you a mathematical way to understand. Otherwise, don't match up your dream with your samadhi. Many people go into it. They failed in their meditation, but in the dream they had a wonderful experience. That's okay, I'm just giving you it. There are people who do have good experience, but I'm just giving you a general way. Instead of really moving into meditation, you were more inclined to dream. The dream is similar, number 2 is the same, but one is minus, another is plus. Same way, if you go further in third level, Shuvecha Vicharana Tanumanasi, and the mind itself becomes so thinned out that as if you are in sleep. But that's what you experience in sleep is -3. And what you are experiencing in that positive state is +3. If you want further simplified, stand before a lake, look into see yourself as reflected in the lake. You are seeing the reflection beginning with your foot. Foot on the outside the lake is the +1. Foot that you see in reflection is the -1. And now, see your upper body, +2. See the reflection, that's the -2. Because the reflection is going different way, going more and more minus. Your head, +3. Reflection, -3. So -1, -2, -3 is doing a headstand. Okay.
You mentioned that in a dream, the mind, from the waking mind, a small mind emerges that blows up into a dream state, and the waking mind is also a small fraction of a cosmic mind.
Yes, but cosmic mind again, to understand cosmic mind, you have to wait to let your mind become little more cosmic. If you figure it out through the conditioned mind, then that can be helpful, but that's not real. In other words, reality cannot be located according to the mental concept. Before I attain enlightenment, I want to know where does Brahman live? That would be possible. Any answer given to you will be just pleasing your mind. Childish answer. Okay.
Swamiji, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
In many of the recent lectures, you've been talking about Kramamukti, the northern path,
Mm-hmm.
and the teaching that this was what the soul would follow after death. You've been emphasizing the fact that it should be the way we live our lives all the time while we're alive, the development of vairagya and viveka and
Mm-hmm.
practical skill in action and feelings. And it's easy to see how we can evolve in those directions while we're alive, following that path during life. But I'm confused about how that process goes on for the soul when it's just accompanied by the astral body after death. Those stages that you allegorically represent as vairagya, viveka, how does the soul...
First thing to understand that the Kramamukti description is allegorical. Mhm. The purpose of the scripture is not to have a precise knowledge of how the soul is moving from one step to another. The purpose of the scripture is start practicing those stages in your life. So as you go on practicing it, and ultimately even the goal must be realized while you are alive. There is some little matter, if you are, due to some little obstacle, could not come to the ultimate step, that matter, that little karma can dissolve when a person is born. Soul just needs a little bit of experience of the word, called avidya, lesh, to remove a trace of ignorance. Then that becomes like Nachiketa and some other sages who were enlightened from their very childhood. On the other hand, further again, if you did not succeed in all these steps, your effort is not in vain. You will be born in another embodiment and you will continue. You are led by karma and your jnana. Whatever knowledge you have gained, it will continue within next. The descriptions of evolution after death is completely allegorical. So don't wait for things to happen in heaven. They should happen in your life. Even this liberation has to happen in your life. It should not happen unawares.
So there's no truth, nothing but allegory. There's no truth to souls evolving after death.
You
Not
must
having
realize the very term Uttarayana, northern course. There's nothing north there for spiritual movement.
But that is presented as a path for those who are virtuous, a lot of wisdom, but not quite ready to be enlightened, that they do not have to be reborn. At least that's the way.
All that is presented is for different aspirants. But in general, all these stories of Shiva talking to Parvati and all these stories, They are done for the general masses as well as for even grown-up people. Even enlightened people enjoy this story. And they have become enlightened enjoying this story. And they share this story with others because these are the vehicles of higher thought. That's what Yoga Vasistha said. Teachers use stories, parables, artistic dramas, poetic sentiments. You have to approach people. It's like in medical science, you handle diseases through countless medicines.
So then actually when you write in Death and Reincarnation, for example, that there are 4 possible pathways after death, you're actually saying that except for those who are actually enlightened, everyone else has to be reborn. Because the Krama Mukti is offered in that description of 4 possibilities after death.
You must realize again, you don't have to change those contexts. They are done for general masses. Just like you are writing books on mathematics for students, you give them normal mathematics and don't add into that, look, when you go advanced, straight line doesn't exist. And parallel lines, they never meet. They meet at infinity.
So, except for the dull wit interpretation.
No.
No. But then you are actually saying, for the record, for the breaking news, there's actually, unless you attain enlightenment, anything that's less than the wisdom of enlightenment has to be worked out through incarnation.
Through
in life.
incarnation, yes.
Oh.
Without incarnation, all activity is in incarnation level. Anything that you get out of incarnation is a result of your effort. So it is not something being given to you.
That's why I didn't understand how it could happen. You couldn't be making it.
Yeah, that's correct.
Thank you, Swami. I'm not sure I'm grateful for that answer, but I say thank you. Okay, quick announcement. Remember that we'll be celebrating Ganesh Chaturthi on Sunday, September 9th, starting at 5 p.m. And just make a quick mental note when we begin Mahavaratri Puja on Friday, October 5th, until we conclude it on Sunday, October 14th. The regular classes will not be held at night. There will be no lectures, no meditation, no dinner on that first, no Gita and dinner on the first Sunday. Everything changes during those 10 days, so make a mental note and spread the word so people are not confused. Now it's time for Kumkum blessing.